What's up, everybody? Yeah, car talk. Topic of the day is deadlifts. Now, a bunch of you guys have brought up the question regarding strongman Robert Oberst. Robert Oberst was on the Joe Rogan show, Joe Rogan Experience, and he made the statement that deadlifting is dangerous and people don't need to be deadlifting and people shouldn't be deadlifting. And I'm an advocate of deadlifting, and I habitually deadlift and continue to do so, and much of our programming has to do with deadlifting. So those of you who have asked the question said, Dolce, what do you think about what Robert Oberst says? Should we be deadlifting? And let me give some context here. Robert Oberst is a near 400-pound human. He is a giant of a man. He is atypical. He is an outlier. He is a 1 in a million, 1 in 10 million? I don't know, because there's 350 million Americans, and I don't know how many Americans are the size of Robert Oberst. Are there 40 of them? I don't know. So he's like a 1 in 10 million type of genetic anomaly, whatever that number might be. A guy like Robert Oberst is genetically gifted with strength. That does not mean he doesn't have to work his ass off. Of course he does. Specifically in that he's competing in the world's strongest man tier of competition. So he's competing against other genetically gifted human beings like Brian Shaw, like Hafthor Bjornsson, all of these other genetic anomalies. So when Robert Oberst says, hey, you don't need to be deadlifting because it's too dangerous, unfortunately, a guy like Robert Oberst is wrong. Robert Oberst, no disrespect to him, he's viewing the strength sports through a very small set of lenses, to paraphrase my good friend Dr. Bo Hightower, triple Dr. Bo Hightower. Bo made the statement that people see things not as they are, but only through the lenses that they're wearing at that time. And my opinion of what Oberst said, this is coming from a genetic superior with regards to muscle mass and strength ability, power output. Robert Oberst was born stronger than a non-gifted man will ever be with 20 years of training. And that's okay. I'll never play in the NBA, and I'll never dunk a regulation-sized basketball on a regulation-sized hoop. That's okay. When Robert says that we shouldn't be deadlifting, that we should be avoiding the deadlifting, and that the deadlift is too dangerous, well, he's wrong and he's right. He's wrong in that, no, all humans perform a variation of the deadlift every time they hinge at the hip. Every time they bend over to pick something up off the floor, every time they lean forward to tie their shoes. That's a version of the deadlift. And to not be training, to not be proficient in that range of motion, that's dangerous. That's the problem. Now, Robert is correct in saying that the deadlift is dangerous. But I would take that one step further and say the deadlift performed improperly is dangerous. And that's really what we want to get down to. So, deadlifting is essentially hinging at the hip, leaning your torso forward, pushing your hips backwards. I say pockets to the wall. You're pushing your pockets, your glute pockets to the wall, your pant pockets to the wall, while leaning your torso forward. Any variation of that can be scaled and can be trained. I apologize for this little rig here. But to not train that, specifically to not train that for the average healthy adult, that's an extreme disservice. Now, loading the spine is one of the most effective forms of building muscle and building strength, specifically with regards to full body strength, the type of strength that you keep with you forever. So no, I do not agree with Robert Oberst's assessment. I do believe it's flawed. I do believe that every human should be deadlifting, and I'll speak about my own wife, Brandy. When Brandy was pregnant with both of our daughters, we made sure she deadlifted and continued to deadlift through the entire duration, including third trimester of her pregnancy. Why did she do that? She did that to maintain the fluidity of the motion, to ensure that she was proficient at leaning forward and picking things up off the floor, for a safety mechanism to protect her from possible injury or damage. We maintained a proficiency, and we used a variety of deadlifting styles. We used the traditional barbell deadlift, the conventional deadlift, the sumo deadlift. We did unilateral deadlifts, which is one leg deadlifts with a barbell, with kettlebells, with dumbbells, two-handed and one-handed. We did suitcase deadlifts. We did trap bar deadlifts. Essentially, getting my wife comfortable in leaning forward safely, under control, picking things up off the floor, and standing back up safely with a technically proficient range of motion. That was the goal. And she was able to do that all the way through her pregnancy. Now, many ladies, and you hear about this, some ladies, they can't put on their shoes. They can't pick something up off the floor. Some ladies get so detrained, they lose the strength, they lose the flexibility, they lose the mobility. Should they be on the floor, they can't even stand up. They can't get up off the floor. This is a scary thing. So when we do prescribe deadlifting, it's not to be a meathead per se. That's fine, you can train for that, but we're thinking in athletic ability. So when we talk about the deadlift, and why I disagree with Robert Oberst on the deadlift, is because deadlifting is an essential mechanism of the human experience, hinging at the hip. What do? We push, we pull, we hinge, we squat, and we rotate through the trunk. That's what humans do. To neglect one of those is dangerous. I understand what Robert's saying. He probably sees a lot of athletes get hurt trying to pull more weight than they can handle with really bad form. Agreed. Never, ever, ever do that. That's why here at the Dolce Diet and Fitness, we only discuss training until technical breakdown, never training to muscular failure. There's a big difference. Once we hit that point of technical breakdown within that set, we stop the set. So we do not risk injury. This is the point of it. We are downloading the proper movement patterns with the training effect. And once we see that program slightly glitch, we stop. Same thing on the deadlift. Very simple, very easy. Now in our facility, we start practicing the deadlift hands-free, which means nothing in your hands, no weight at all. We run through a movement screening. We make sure you have the proper mobility and flexibility. There's no muscular imbalances. Before we then stage to a PVC pipe, then a 15-pound, 25, 35, 45-pound bar. Then we start slowly adding weight to that bar. We scale. Sometimes this is done in the single session. Sometimes this is done over days and weeks and months. It's a scaling, it's a progression, which does fall into the confines of progressive overload, which is the governing principle in all form of muscle and strength growth, nervous system adaptation, and yada yada, a whole other video. So that's the answer. Subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed to this channel. Leave a thumbs up, click on that notification button, and remember, leave a comment below. Someone this week will win a $100 Amazon gift card card, but you have to comment into the section. Whoever adds the most productive, whoever contributes the most this week will win the $100 gift card. Dave B won last week's $100 gift card, which is awesome, but you have to subscribe, click on the notifications, and then you can leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'm not telling you have to give me a 5-star thumbs up review. If you don't like the stuff I talk about, if you don't like my face, whatever, give me a thumbs down. Just leave it in the comment section. You might even win. Truly, you might even win. I appreciate you guys, and until next time, boom.